What's up, y'all? You are listening to For the Artists, a podcast brought to you by Creative and Projects, which is a 501c3 tax-exempt organization helping young artists develop from the inside out. I'm your host, Melissa Cherie.
And I am your co-host, Mr. Eric Seats. Now, today's feature is bringing the heat all the way from Detroit, Michigan, and she is best known for her artistry and her vocal ability.
Yes, that's right, Seats. Beth was a background vocalist for R&B legend Anita Baker. Hey, y'all know y'all want to sing Anita Baker song as soon as I say that. She is currently a background vocalist for superstar Kim and Najee. Beth was also a contestant of season 16, The Voice. I need to go back in my records because I don't know if I saw that season. And she was featured as a vocalist on Dancing with the Stars. Girl, I want to go on that show. All right, we're going to talk about upcoming projects later. But y'all give it up if you're listening. You know, stand to your feet, clap your hands, give a little snap for Beth. Beth, welcome.
Miss Beth.
I'm snapping for myself. Thank you.
As you should.
How y'all doing? Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. You know what? That is the short version because I went to your website. Girl, your list is long in terms of experience and the things that you have done. I mean, I have to know how you got into singing. That's my automatic question right there. How did you get into singing?
You know, sometimes I look at my resume and I don't even know how that stuff gets on there. I just, you know, when I started singing, that was something that I always wanted to do as a little girl, but my voice was not developed. And my father was one of the funk brothers from Motown. So I had all this music around me, but I just didn't have it. It wasn't there. And so what I decided to do was just to keep pursuing it. I got in the choir, church choir at school, got in the band, everything that I could do musically just to surround myself with music, because what I really wanted to do was sing, but the singing wasn't there. Then I think after high school, my voice did start to develop as I matured, and I sang with bands and sang in clubs and just tried to strategically position myself where I could take another step forward.
I have to interject right now because we're not going to just let her skate over her father's legacy. Like, I'm a musician and I love the Funk Brothers. I appreciate it.
Oh, wow.
So we need to know who your dad is and what instrument he played.
Okay.
Off top.
So I go by Beth because my name is so long and hyphenated. My name is Beth Griffith Manley, and my father was the late Johnny Griffith. He played the keyboards, the piano, the organ, the harpsichord. He played those keyed instruments. He came in shortly after Earl Van Dyke was there. And my father was nicknamed the hired gun. He was classically trained. He could play. He was just brilliant on the piano, just brilliant. And so that's where my music heritage, my what I inherited, that comes from my father. And so going back to when I said I just wanted to sing as a little girl, there was music in my house. I wanted to sing, you know, and it just wasn't happening. And I'm sitting there watching my dad play the piano, and I'm just like, oh my God, like, come on. So yeah, my dad gave it to me. I naturally inherited the music from him. Yeah.
Amazing.
What a foundation. Go ahead,
yeah,
man.
what a foundation. First of all, I love that. I love that you were surrounded by music, and you know, in your mind, you were like, but I don't have the skill. You know what I mean? Like, you recognize that, but you didn't let that stop you, you know? And I love that because there's I'm not going to say a lot of people, but there are people that recognize that, oh shoot, you know what? I'm really not that great, and they'll just hang it up. But that is not so of you. And look at you now.
Well, you know what? I relate to that so well because early on, my voice wasn't developed, but I still loved music. And then shortly after that, when I pushed myself to be in a position where I could sing, then something else kind of impaired me shortly. I suffered from extreme panic attacks and just being insecure and being afraid to stand out front. So it would be to the point where there would be situations where someone would ask me to sing and I'd say, okay. And I'd go and pass out. I'd faint because of the nervousness and the anxiety that I felt. And I still pushed through that. So when people have a dream or wish or desire to do something and they're afraid to do it. I really sympathize and empathize with those people because I've been there. But I'm just one of those people that figured out how to push through it.
What that's a testimony that a lot of artists need to hear.
I get it.
Yeah, and you clearly persevered because you just don't end up on the stage with legends like Anita Baker.
You do not.
Who is a true musician and an engineer. She knows her technical aspects, and then Najee. So you clearly are blessed, you know, because those are gigs that you really have to be a singer on.
They are, and I'm so grateful because I did not allow my insecurity, I did not allow my fear to keep me from pushing forward. You know, I'm just gonna give you just a sidebar now. I am actually recording a song. I just got home from the studio. Like I was flying to get home one time to you know, so I could talk to you guys. I'm covering a song by an iconic artist that will be released this year. I'm doing a collab with someone. And I literally in the studio today froze up a little bit because I still deal with pushing Beth and believing that Beth can do it and not allowing that to keep me from doing it. And I had to literally have a pep talk from my producer. He was like, hey, I need you to get your head together. And I'm saying that to tell you guys, even though an artist may be at a certain point or you may be in a certain place, people still deal with things with themselves. And it's a constant thing that we deal with. And so that just happened to me literally today. I had to, you know, I recorded the song and then he's like, yeah, you need to go and get out your head and come back and redo this. So that happens to everybody. Yeah.
I so appreciate, Beth, that you went there. I mean, that is a vulnerable place to be. You know what I mean? And you just shared that with us with so much confidence, but it really takes a lot of courage to get vulnerable like that, especially when you have the accolades and the experience and the things that I've seen on your, you know, on your website and your resume. So thank you so much, because that's very true. I know I can probably attest to the same thing. I don't know about you, Seats, but people do need to hear that. You know, we never fully like arrive and come to this place where like we just got it all together and it's perfect, and you know what I mean, no matter how good it is.
Yeah, one of the Anita, I remember I missed working with her so much and I learned so much from her. One of the things we would often say would be new levels, new devils. So just because you've gotten to a certain place in your life or your career, there's other things that are going to come at you at that level that you're on. So, you know, and you always have to constantly encourage yourself and talk to yourself and surround yourself with positive people so you can push through whatever it is that you're going through at that time.
Seats, Seats, did you have a question you were to ask? No?
I forgot my question because I'm so engaged.
I'm sorry.
No. Don't you ever be that, because I'm flabbergasted and I'm hyped off of your accomplishments. Now we haven't even heard the rest of them yet, but I know, and here's why I can agree with her, because it's no matter how long we've been touring, you can play in stadiums and then you end up in a small, intimate setting, and I get butterflies still. So it's important that I'm glad she said that, to let everybody know out here, like no one's exempt from those nerves.
No,
but that means you care.
I do care, because I remember how crippling it was for me wanting to sing so bad. And people would tell me I was good, but I didn't believe it. And if I can be honest with somebody else who feels the same way, it can maybe let them know that it's going to take a little work, but they can get past it. There's so many people that start albums, start projects, and they never finish it. And they're in their own way. And so I don't want anybody else to feel like that. I went through that same thing. So it's like, I still have to be in touch with that vulnerability, because once I get to the point where, oh, I got this thing, that's when I start to fall. And I don't want to fall. So I want to pass it to other people. And I know the struggle, it's such a struggle to get past yourself, you know? So I just don't want people to feel that way if they don't have to, or I don't want them to internalize it or to slow them down as long as it slowed me down. I just try to pay it forward, as they say.
Okay, so I got to ask this. I want you to get a little specific for us because you talked about, pushing through in terms of your skill and becoming better at being a vocalist. Can you tell us, like, exactly what are some of the things that you did to push through and to become better?
Ooh, I got a vocal teacher.
Okay.
I went through several vocal teachers, and I got different ones because different teachers teach different.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned there's going to be some teachers that are going to teach you how to master doing runs. There's some teachers that focus on breathing and technique. And then there's teachers that recognize that it's a mental thing to be an artist. So I've had 3 to 4 different teachers to target different ways that they teach. And that helped me push because then I had technique, I had some mental strength, and then I had, the fluff to put on it, right? So you combine all that. I get that from the teachers. The other thing was I surrounded myself with people who knew more and could teach me. So there was always a thirst to learn. So that kept me occupied in learning and not even really focusing on that I was pushing through some things, right? Mm-hmm. And then I think prayer and wine. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Little vodka and cranberry. I mean, I'm just being honest. So, there's times when it just gets really heavy. Mm. And you have a cocktail. And then there's times where you pull on the techniques that you've learned and you use those. And that's my honest answer.
Okay.
Did you ever, Ms. Beth, did you ever, like in school, were your lessons in vocal coaches, were they exterior? Did you ever go through any like performing arts schools or anything like that?
No, I didn't. And that's one thing I wish I would have done. I live in Detroit. Mm-hmm. There is a Detroit School of the Arts that I don't think was open when I was in high school, or it was very small. I didn't know anything about it. I went to Mumford High School, the one Eddie Murphy made famous with the Mumford Physical Ed, Beverly Hills Cop, throwback. So I went there, but a lot of people went to that school, and we had an excellent teacher who did give us vocal techniques and training. The Winans went to the high school I went to, the Clark sisters, Commission, a lot of gospel greats went there. I started to really fine tune the teaching outside of school when I became an adult, and I knew that I wanted to do this for real, and I wanted to be able to compete, for lack of a better word, with what was out there. I said, let me get a teacher that's going to drill me. So that's what I did.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What external pushes did you have? Because it sounds like you had a lot of self-drive. I mean, parents, teachers. I mean, what was that like?
Believe it or not, it wasn't my parents. My parents did not want me in the business. Especially my father being in the business, he didn't want me to do it. So he didn't push me to do music. They were like, go to college, get your degree. And I did that. I just stayed around musicians. And I always had this drive that I knew I could do something else. I didn't want to be in the bars and the clubs. I wanted to be in stadiums and big stages. And so I was like, how do I do that? Like, I got to figure this out. Mm-hmm. So it was just me surrounding myself around people. And then I was around a lot of talented people that didn't do anything. And that irked me. So it made me want to do more. I was like, why y'all not, what y'all doing? So I think my environment pushed me, a lot.
I'm glad she said that. I deal with that a lot to this day. So it's great that you were able to gravitate to your own dream or, will and pursue it and then accomplish it. Because we all know talented people, but the drive is not the same. So we're glad you made it through.
Thank you. I would be around singers that were so good. They opened their mouth and I said, are your vocal cords paved with diamonds and gold? What is in your throat? How do you sing like this? And they would say, oh, I ain't think, and I'd say, I would pay for a voice like that. I'm getting the teacher, I'm struggling, I'm drinking water, sucking on lemons, trying to sing, right? And they're just effortlessly, and it just really boggled my mind how they had such a gift and they sat on it. And I said, well, if I have a tenth of that, let me see what I can do.
So wait, let's hang there for a minute. I mean, do you think they just didn't recognize the gifting that they had, or do you think they just didn't care about what they were carrying?
So let me say this. You're an attractive woman. You get up, put on your outfit, and you got it. You're not that girl that gets up and says, oh Lord, now I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to, people who have it, they just have it. And sometimes they don't work extra hard because they don't have to. So the person who has that vocal gift and they sing and they're amazing and everybody gives them praises, they're a star in their own little bubble and they don't have to push for it. And a girl like me who, this is my opinion of myself, I thought I had to work a little harder. So I did things to get me in that place. I know we put on that right outfit, those right shoes, that right handbag, and we stepped in the room. We know what it is.
Work the room.
Know what it is. So it's that type of situation with the talent. When you got it, you got it, and you just may not even, you could put on a cute little tracksuit and cute little tennis shoes, and somebody else knows that they have to come in with a gown and prom dress in order for somebody to pay them some attention. And it's with talent like that too,
Very like nice. How you broke that down.
Because, sometimes it has to be, sometimes it doesn't make sense because it's that simple. You just have to make it even simpler, Yeah.
Now, Miss Beth, how did you get started into recording your own things? Did it take for you to be out on the road with these legends to actually start feeling like, what is it possible for me?
I got tired of doing background and then the artists take off and everybody's sitting in the house waiting for the next gig and they got their money and they at Disney with their kids. And I'm trying to figure out, am I going to ever get to this?
She's my friend right now.
But am I telling, you know what I'm saying? That's what happens. Right. So I said, now how do I be that guy? How do I be that girl? How do I, or because I love doing background, that's one of my favorite things to do. I always do that if I'm able. But how can I supplement the income where I can do me when they're off, or we could schedule the year? I could look at the calendar and say, well, I'm gonna do my gigs from this to, and that's all it was. I said, I have to figure, there's gotta be a better way. Like I might as well just go get a day job. And that's what I didn't want.
Artist, if you're listening right now, that was a gem that she just dropped.
Yep.
Never put all of your eggs in one basket. Diversify and multiply your own gift.
Something.
Very well said.
Right. Okay. Now, you probably just answered this kind of with what you just said, but things slowed down the last 2 years.
Yes,
and people were not working. People were not able to make it work. So was the same true for you? Because it sounds like you just kept it going.
The income was not coming in, but when you are an artist, it's not always about income coming in, because your gigs are gonna pick up. You have the slow times. So I figured things would eventually change. So we worked on my second album. We recorded the entire pandemic. We recorded music videos. I tried to do some content, worked on a children's book, cleaned my house, organized. Because clutter keeps you from being productive sometimes, So I just did some things that I normally don't do because I'm on the road. And I'm really happy that I feel like we utilized that time as wisely as possible. Yeah.
This is a great time to talk about a couple of the upcoming projects that y'all sent me. So you have a children's book that's out now called
Yes.
I'm Beautiful Inside and Out,
Yes.
educating young children on anti-bullying and literacy. You also have a Christmas single that I guess
Yes.
was out during the season called Celebrate.
Yes.
You are opening for Peebo Bryson in
Yes.
next month. Next month,
Yes.
y'all. Okay. And then
Another
in
legend.
March, she will be releasing the second single from her upcoming CD.
Yes.
Talk about irons in the fire.
So excited. I'm so excited. I'm excited because I have committed to starting projects and finishing the projects. And it's not easy to do. So I remember how intimidated and daunting it was with the first album, not having a clue, but just being determined that I'm going to have a body of work, that I'm going to have something tangible, because I was around a lot of singers. They would go into a club, go into an event or something, and they would sing, and people would say, "Oh my God, I love your voice. Do you have a record?" And they go, "No." I said, "Oh, I don't want to be that. I don't want no." So I was like, I got to have an album. So I'm excited because I did the first album. So I'm excited because I did a second album. And so now I have full bodies of work. And I'm just excited because there's going to be a second children's book. So this is going to be the beginning of a series. I'm excited because I get to open for a legend, Peebo Bryson.
Mhm.
I've done shows with him doing background for Kim several times, but to now be just with him and coming in as myself, I'm proud of myself for just really pushing. So yeah.
She's dropping gems, artists that are listening, producers that are listening. It's always after that first, something about getting that first one off, it makes it easier to say, okay, it's always that first hump that you need to get over. And then everything else, is trial and error. Nobody knows what to do until you actually start the process. And then there's something able to be edited. So I appreciate everything you're saying. And I'm glad that you're doing very well in those books. And even just putting that energy back into the community like you're doing is super unselfish. And that's why you'll be blessed forevermore.
Thank you.
Yes. You know what though? One of the key word you said was commitment. You made the commitment, and what I love about the gems that you're dropping, it's like even though you're specifically talking about music because that's your lane, all of the things that you have talked about can be applied to anything. You committed to starting and finishing a project. You committed to paying attention. Girl, you were paying attention. That's like a constant. And all of the things that you're saying, you were paying attention to the things that were going on around you. And you were already making decisions in your mind as to what you would and would not do based off of the things that you were paying attention to.
And it had nothing to do with money, because I didn't have the money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The money came. I was just talking to some people who were in a singing competition and they won money. And I told them, I said, don't take this money and run to the mall. If you're a true artist, you would invest in your time. Anything that you have, you would put back into yourself so that you could better your future. Mm-hmm. So you got to observe what you like and don't like, and then you can make the changes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just thought of where your treasure is. Go ahead, Seats.
Would you listen?
No, that just made me think of where your treasure is. There your heart is, there your heart lies also.
That's a mentality that needs to be taught better, because a lot of artists walk around with their hand out and then they don't even contribute back to their own craft, which is beyond me. But it's good that you recognize that, I'm always my best investor, and you sound like you're your best investor. And that allows for the audience to follow you because they know that you're taking yourself serious.
I try, there's nothing wrong with you wanting to put an album or a project out and then you do a GoFundMe page. I never wanted to be that artist because I felt that if I put something out myself, that would let you know the commitment that I have. If I invest in myself enough to get the right producers and the right project, you'll buy it. So I'll get money so that I can reinvest. So I think when you show people that you'll pay for yourself, then people will come and help you. And that was that's why I said I never want to be that artist to say, help me fund my dream. This is mine. Mm-hmm. This, you know, but if I see that you did everything you could to save your money and strategically get money to put something out, then I'll invest in it or I'll support you. So I don't know, you know, and I know a lot of artists do stuff like that. And I think the giving back sometimes happens when it's a good look, mm-hmm. and not that it's a good cause. Mm-hmm. Like even with my children's book, I'm Beautiful Inside and Out. That's really my story about how insecure I felt coming out of my shell. And now I feel like I have the colorful wings and I can fly. But in the beginning, I didn't feel that way. And kids can be cruel and can tease and can bully. And I didn't know to go tell an adult. I just internalized it. And look how long it stayed with me. I'm still dealing with it as an adult. So I want kids to know to tell somebody, get this off of them while they're little so that they can fly sooner. So you just have to look at what people are going through in your environment and then try to help and give back and pour it back into it. Yeah.
You're awesome, Melissa.
Awesome. Yes.
Being honest, I think a lot of people don't talk about their hurt and their pain and the things that they've gone through. That's what fuels you. And as an artist, that's what contributes to your songwriting. That's what contributes to your performance. That's what contributes to you as a whole, the personality and the air that you give. So yeah. And I don't like hurting. I'm trying to get it off of me, so I'll talk about it.
Yeah, I don't like hurting. Yeah, that's right. So how did you get to that place though? Because I know that you weren't always, you know, I'm guessing you had to get to that place where you were in tune with what was going on with you and then comfortable actually, you know, talking about it or getting it out. How did you get to that place?
You ever heard the old folks say, when you get sick and tired of being sick and tired?
Yes, that's what happened.
I'll tell you a story. There was an opportunity. I think one of the last times it happened for me, there was an opportunity for me many years ago. There was a lady, she still does hair, a great hairstylist. Her name is Cherise Slate. She was doing hair for Ashanti. She took me to Ashanti. She was here in Detroit. Ashanti was in her hotel room getting her nails done or something for a show. Cherise walked me in there, wanted me to meet her and to sing. I was too afraid to sing. Mm. And I will never forget that. It doesn't mean I was going to get the opportunity to sing background for her. It didn't mean it, but I could not even have control enough to sing a simple song. I couldn't do it. I said, I'll never let that happen again. Mm-hmm. So you get sick and tired of being sick and tired. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
And at that point, did you reach out for someone to help you in terms of the anxiety and the panic?
Not immediately. I went home and was very angry with myself and cried. And I still had to come to the realization that I had an issue, mm-hmm. you know, and then once I got to the realization that I had an issue and whether or not I wanted to fight and work through it, because sometimes it's more comfortable to just stay where you at. I could have said, well, she wasn't going to hire me anyway. I could have made it be her fault, but she would have never been able to if she didn't hear me. And what's my problem where I can't open my mouth to sing a simple song and I'm a singer? Mm-hmm. Something's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just wanted something different. I just got tired.
That's good. It's good to graduate and elevate. There's, you know, yes. I think it's important whatever we think we're doing consistently and doing it very well, there's always room for growth. I always challenge myself. You clearly have been challenging yourself. Let me ask you this. What's coming up in the future? Oh, outside of the obvious things that she's mentioned already, like where do you see yourself or mm-hmm. what are you aiming at?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Okay, so let me say this. I want to say what I would like to do. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to say where I see myself. Mm-hmm. Because when you say what you see, our vision is always limited for us. So I would just want to say what I want to do or what I would like to do. I would like to continue writing. I would like to be a better writer. I would like to be in movies. I would like to act more. I would like to do soundtracks for movies. And I would like to have a foundation of some sort, but I haven't figured out for what, so that I could do something more with kids.
Mm.
Yeah, because I think that's what I want to do, and definitely continue singing and performing and traveling and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
Right on.
that's kind of broad, but I want to
Yeah.
leave it open because I don't want to limit, man. What God wants from me, I might be saying, well, I just want to go to the moon, and He's like, I got the universe, so kind of.
Mhm.
Yes.
Perfect.
Gotta stay open. We have our idea, but then there's always, the real of what is actually going to go down.
His
Yes,
plans,
you-
not
You
ours.
have no idea. You have no.
Mhm. Oh my goodness. Listen, y'all, it's about that time. Beth, you have been on with us for a minute and we have loved, yeah.
Okay.
Seats, you don't
Yeah.
have anything else?
I do. I want to ask you,
Uh-huh.
all those different background. Where are you most comfortable? Are you most comfortable as a background singer, or is it in you at the front of the stage? And I want to ask you what note you sang
Oh,
in
okay.
background parts.
What note? What do you mean what part?
Like, alto.
Okay, I'm like, that's not note. Like what?
Yeah, I know what he meant. I know what he meant. So
You're tracking with him.
Yeah, I know what he meant. When I sang with Anita, I was on the top note, soprano. And then when I sing with him, I am in the middle note. And then when I sing with Najee, I actually don't do background with him. He brings me in, and he's an incredible man. Brings me in as a guest artist, and I just solo in his show. I sing one of my songs off my album, and then I sing one of his songs off of one of his albums.
That is awesome for any artist to let you grace their
Yes.
stage and take out any amount of time from their already set sets. That's a beautiful thing. But that just means you're deserving of that spot too, as well. So
I
that
received
has to
that.
be a great compliment from those cats.
He's so incredible. The way I met Najee was just kind of like a mistake. We were doing a jazz weekend for Earl Clue, and it was like maybe 5 a.m, and I get in the car to go to the airport, and he's sitting in the car, and I know I'm not supposed to be sitting in this car with Najee. I'm like, y'all got the wrong car for me. And they're like, he's like, no, you can get in. And make a long story short, we got a flat tire on the highway at like 5 a.m, and I'm sitting there, and I ended up giving him my CD, and I told him if he ever came to Detroit to please call me. I would love to sing with him. And he called me, and that was in 2019. So that was fun to work with him in that manner. And then you were asking me about the notes I sang. I told you the notes I sang, right? What was the other question?
Oh shoot.
I don't remember that other question.
Yeah,
but
that was a good
what,
question.
what
What
Melissa,
was
you
it?
got
No,
it?
I thought I almost remembered it, but I didn't, y'all.
It's
It was
crazy
like,
because
what notes do you sing and something else? It'll come
Oh
back.
man.
it'll come back to me. But here's another one.
Uh-huh.
I know that I've ran across you. We've graced the same stages at the same festivals at the same time, because I was drumming for Layla Hathaway for ages, and I always ran across Kim was on always on some
Yes.
shows. Najee was always on some of those shows, and Anita Baker definitely came to a few of our shows, and we've ended up on maybe a couple of stages with her, but more so the jazzy world. So it's crazy. We've been at the same places at the same time.
We
Just now.
definitely have. Yeah, and we definitely have.
Mhm.
And because it's all that hustle and bustle, so you see people, you're like, hey, how you doing? Just kind of keep. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad
Hustle
we're
and
here
bustle.
now on this type of platform discussing
Yeah.
what we do.
We won't forget now. We won't.
Nah.
Forget.
No, you won't.
Right.
Hey, you were ready and had your CD ready and passed it on, and look at what happened. See, that's another note, another gem people need to be paying attention to, because I don't know if you guys have noticed. I mean, that used to happen a lot back in the day, but I don't know that people are still prepared in that same way when they meet people to be like, here's my stuff, check it out. And if you ever,
It's different now because back in the day you could meet somebody and just break out singing to them. you know, because nobody had their own project because there were no independent artists at the time. It's different now. You have to have something to give to people. And it was just a crazy situation. I was very nervous and I was like, oh my God, this man's gonna think I'm crazy. But I'm like, okay, you only get one shot. So the chances of me running into him again with this situation, I'm sitting in the car and there's a flat tire on the side of the road. I was like, okay, God, I hear you. Let me say something. Like it was just crazy. But he's such a great guy. Working with Kim is great. He's a great guy to work with. You know, Anita was great. I've just had some great opportunities.
Oh, now see, I'm glad we didn't wrap it up too soon, because now some stuff is coming back to me. You have to tell us about The Voice and that experience.
Yes. Okay. That started in 2018. Okay. Because it's a long process to get on the show, but it started in 2018. I put my first album out in 2017. Trying to sell it yourself and book your own shows, it's a little hard. So I was like, okay, what can I do different to try to help me as a independent artist and as a solo artist? So The Voice called and asked me to audition, and my mother got sick. And so I said no the first time. And maybe 6 months later, they called again. And my mother was much better. And I went on the show. I went through the audition process. I had an amazing time. It was John Legend's first season there. And Kelly Clarkson was my first coach. And then I got stolen by John Legend. And being on that show really, it boosted my confidence, and it let me know that the big things that I want to do in life, the lights, the camera, the action, the Hollywood and everything, that's available to me because it's tangible to me now. I was there and I was able to be in it. So I know that I can do that again. So it was just great for me. No regrets. I'd do it again if I could.
How did your nerves work out on that level?
They were horrible.
Really? That's just crazy, because I'm sitting here talking to you and your whole spirit, energy, and vibe is like, for real? Because you just seem so comfortable and you just exude so much life.
I love life. Let me say that. And thank you. That's an amazing compliment. But you know, you get there and you know you're being looked at through a magnifying glass, the whole process. It's not just that you get on the TV and they're turning these chairs. That's not the process. The process, when you make it there, it's like, shoot, I done it now. It's the process getting there. The auditions that you have that nobody knows about. The auditions with the casting agency, the auditions with the band, the auditions with the vocal coach, the auditions with the producer, the auditions with, you know, the other producers and the writers and everything, you know, because it's technically a reality show. So you're going through this. I probably auditioned or was in the audition process maybe up to 10 times before I even hit the television. So you're going out to LA and you're there, you know, and so you do the audition. My first audition was in Chicago, and then they were like, we think we like you, we'll call you back, and then block off this week in August, because we'll probably may or may not, you know, it's very vague, call you to come out to Hollywood. But I auditioned in June, right? So June, July, I'm waiting. Nobody calls, nobody says anything. The week before I'm supposed to go to LA, they're going like, hey, yeah, you've been selected. Are you still available to come out? So what about people who can't? Or something happens, they missed that whole opportunity. Well, I was available. So they called me and I fly out there literally the next week. And then I'm out there for about almost 10 days. And within that time, I'm doing auditions, I'm doing different things, meetings, paperwork, all this kind of stuff. But you slowly but surely see people leaving, trickling out. They've either been asked to leave or something happens in their life and they can't stay once they find out what the process is. So that's that time. That's August. Then I go back in September for about a month. And then I come back home, and then I go back in October for about a month. Like, it's a whole thing that people have no idea it's that long. So yeah, my nerves were on edge for a while because you're going back and forth, but sometimes you go back home for the little break time and then they tell you don't come back. Or, you know what I'm saying? So it's all this and you're hearing these stories. So you're nervous. You don't know if you're going to be on the chopping block next. It's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And you made it though.
I did.
You made it though. That's
I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm glad because it was a lot. Like after the show was over, I was like, what did I just do? So it was great though. It was great.
Good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Congratulations to you on that.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was fun.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Seats?
I'm sure it was worth it. All the views and the new.
Oh, it was. I mean, your blind audition, I had over 1 million views on that.
Woo.
Right. And then I did a duet, and that had probably 6 million views on it. So that alone is priceless. You can't pay for that.
1 million views. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
The 6 million. See, that boosts your confidence in such a way that of course you got to come out with your 3rd, 4th, and 5th albums, and because now you have attention, indirect attention, and these people are waiting on you, listening for you.
Yeah, now you have people.
Yes and no. I mean,
please explain.
It's yes and no, because you do have fans that you gain from the show, but you do have a lot of fans that only watch you while you're on the show and they fall off. And that's something that the show will tell you. Your numbers will go up while you're on the show, and after it's over or after you leave, your numbers will go down. They may adjust slightly. So you have that issue. And you also have, that's a false sense of security.
Mm-hmm.
That's a false sense of security. You know, it encouraged me to work and to continue getting music done and to push forward. But I didn't rely on seeing my numbers go up to make me think I had arrived. So
good for you.
Because I don't live by the numbers.
Ooh, me either.
Yeah, those numbers will get you, oh, I got 400 likes. That'll,
I mean, yeah.
you know, and the next day you post something and you get 20. So yeah, and you won't get any. So that's an emotional roller coaster that you can put yourself on. So I didn't want to be on that.
And a lot of people are putting themselves on that roller coaster, especially artists. Unfortunately, it's a game and people don't realize all the time necessarily that they have been drawn into the game.
Correct.
And also you have to also take into consideration, there are people that I did my show with, my season, that have never put any music out since the show. I hadn't put music out before the show. They were just talented people that went on the show. So you just can't let that show define you, or you can't let the numbers define you in that, in that manner.
That is the right mentality to have.
Yeah. You'll be messed up because they dote over you, and there's a lot of attention that you get while you're on the show, and then when you're off the show.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, it sounds like you just have to continue to be true to yourself. And I guess it really ties into what fuels you, what motivates you, and what fills you up. For some people, shallow numbers may be something that fills them up, may get them to the brim of feeling like they are worth something. And I'm not saying that in like to tear anybody down or anything like that, but it's like we have to know what it is that fuels us, where our motivation lies, and that is the thing that's going to keep us in a space that's healthy or not healthy, I think.
No, I agree. You can be in a space where it is a false sense of security almost, and you have to really be realistic and be in touch with reality, because it's temporary.
Temporary.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
So on social media and everything, people find you at Beth?
Well, yes and no. So, I you know what? I have a friend that tells me all the time, it's either yes or it's no. And you always say yes and no. Like, hard.
It's both.
Hard. So, if you go to Facebook, my fan page is Beth.
Okay.
If you go to Instagram and Twitter, it is at Beth Always Sings. And my website is at BethAlwaysSings.com.
Okay.
And Anita Baker gave me that name too.
Beth always sings.
Yes, she gave me that nickname, and so I said, "Oh, that should be like a email." It started out as the old email address, and then I turned it into social media. So that was a lot of fun, that I kept that name, and I'm grateful for that.
The IG was at Beth Loves to Sing.
Beth always sings.
Always.
Yep. So it's BETHALWAYSSINGS.
Yes, Beth always sings. Y'all better remember that, okay?
Follow her.
Oh my goodness. Y'all, we couldn't even get it all in, let me tell you, but we got enough in for y'all to have a taste. We may have to bring you back, Beth, okay? But
I would love to come back. Thank you. You guys are so nice and so awesome, and thank you so very much.
Thank you for being our guest. We have loved hearing the little pieces of your journey and the things that you wanted to share with us. Wow. I mean, from the inside out.
Oh, thank you. I just want people to be okay in knowing that it's okay to sometimes not be okay. Just figure out what it is and address it so that you can move forward.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. And if you are listening and you would like to be a part of what Creative M Projects is doing, volunteer, you definitely should sign up, and you can make a donation at creativemprojects.org at any time.
At any time. So we're going to wrap up, y'all. But until next week, we want you to keep creating from the inside out. We have been locked in with Beth. Beth always sings. Yeah. I've been your host, Melissa Cherie.
And I'm your co-host, Mr. Eric Seats.
All right, y'all. Peace.